Good evening. Yes.
Good evening, Stevens. How are you?
Pretty good. It's as if you don't know how to start without saying good evening.
Well, what do you mean? I mean, it's a greeting, right?
Yeah.
So why do you take it like it's an insult? I'm just greeting you.
I
Good
just
evening.
this is like just really really awkward. It's just unnatural, right? It's just unnatural.
All right, got it. So, um, yesterday we came up with an architecture um,
Yep.
that looks a little bit like this.
Yep.
And as any arc
What?
good,
You deleted the hand drawing one?
yeah, I told you I did.
Why did you delete that one?
It adding value?
Just it's good souvenir. Anyways, go ahead.
Um, so as any good architect will tell you, after you come up with an architecture, you never implement it unless you have a good night's sleep over that architecture. So
Okay.
um, I think I came up with a better one.
Like,
Um,
okay.
with a better one, a simpler one, and a more flexible one.
All right.
All right. So, what do you think? You want to hear it? You want to?
Of course, I mean, like I thought the one yesterday was pretty brilliant, but what's okay, so yeah, talk about your new idea and I want you to be able to like compare the new one with what we came up yesterday. Or even better yet, like how about walk me through your thought process? How did you evolve from this one, like the one we did yesterday to the one you're thinking right now, right? Like what over your sleep and over your dream, in the last 24 hours, what happened?
So
That's a more interesting thing to talk about, right? Like what was going on in your head that leads you to make some conclusions?
yeah. So it's definitely a good question and an interesting question. And let me try and kind of walk through my thought process.
Yeah.
Um,
Excuse me.
just a sec. Let me tweet something out.
What are you tweeting?
I'm just tweeting. What are we talking about? Just so people,
All right.
you know, just some links. Anyway, um, so here's what I thought. Right. I mean, and you can't really I can't really explain what I thought without explaining a bit more about like the internals of each of these.
Okay.
Um, so, for example, our thought was that when you upload to S3, it
Yeah.
will resize to like a set array or a set number of resized objects,
Correct.
right? So, I don't know, like 300 over 300, 400 over 400, whatever, right? But it's like
Yeah.
a set number of a fixed number of sizes or
Mhm.
dimensions, and
Mhm.
then that will like put it on a resized um, bucket, right? So it will be like x 300, x 300, y 300, x 300, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then that will update the server, and the server will have something like image ID of one has 300 over 300 here, 400 over 400 there, and so on and so forth. And this is good. Um, but when you think about it, and again, I mean, this is again the part where I want to emphasize that I am thinking about this product and about this engineering problem the same way as I think about my day-to-day job. I don't think about it as this little product that we're working on while we're live streaming.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have to kind of put everything I say and everything and everything we discuss in the context of me thinking about it, not thinking about it as a small product, but thinking about it as something that I want to take into production. And this is literally like what the clients of my company will see.
So basically, this is like production level engineering with potential to scale, basically.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is when I think about it, when I think why this solution is bad,
Hmm.
it's not necessarily this solution is bad. It's saying that to me as the architect of this service, I think it has flaws that are fundamental and should not be delivered to production as they are.
You're
Right?
talking about this current form.
Yeah, like this.
Okay,
Right?
so what
So
is
so where are the problems? Right? So one of the problems is here. So in this part where the Lambda, oh, by the way, KK Omaz joined the room. Hey, man, nice to see you again. Feel free to ask questions. So one of the problems, again, is the resize part, to like put this in a resize bucket.
okay?
And the problem I have with it is that it's doing too much work that I don't necessarily need and I don't necessarily will ever need.
What do you?
Now think about it, right? So let's say I have I don't know. I have 1,000 images uploaded.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is this Lambda function will necessarily work as 1,000 times x, and x being the number of different dimensions we want to have. So let's say right now we want to have a really minimal one, which is 4.
Okay.
So right now I have 4,000 units of work in this Lambda function. And unit of work means that whatever it takes for the Lambda function to process one image. So now I have 4,000 of these.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I don't necessarily need all of the dimensions right away, and I don't necessarily need all of the dimensions for all of the images. So I don't need to generate the matrix right away.
Why not? I mean, I thought we were assuming that we already know these dimension will be applied to different parts of the client.
Yeah, but what
Like,
I'm saying is, let's say the API is serving one size and the website is serving one size, right? What I'm saying is, let's think if we're thinking about it like seriously, what we're saying is this. What we're saying is not all images need to be served right away to all
got it.
of the clients. Right? Think
Okay.
about it, right? So
Got
let's
it. I
say you
see.
have, you know what I'm saying? Think about Instagram, right? You have your feed, and
Yeah.
then you have, you're kind of scrolling through the feed, right? I
Yep.
don't necessarily need the image to be generated for me before I need to see it, right? And when you think about the scale of it, you want to do the minimal amount of work
Yep.
before you can say, hey, I'm done with this piece of architecture,
Right.
right? What I'm saying here in this process, like from the resize Lambda into the resized bucket, you
Hmm.
are doing the max amount of work that you will not necessarily need.
Yes.
All right, so this is
Yes.
one problem.
I see that.
The second problem comes in terms of maintenance. Someone on live edu chat, let's put it here, Kraken W. I don't know. I'm breaking my teeth here with says hello, hey man, yeah, man or woman, guy, girl. Good to see you. Feel free to ask questions. Right. So that's one of the problems. The second problem I have with it is that let's say now we have 25,000, and 25,000 like in terms of web scale is like zilch. It's like it's zero. It's nothing, right?
Right.
But I
Okay.
mean, let's think about 25,000, right? Because I mean, this is a number that any like hobby website can go to, right?
Got it. Yep.
And
Yep.
when I'm thinking about this problem, I'm thinking like in millions, right? I'm thinking like in 10 millions and 12 millions and 15 millions and 25 millions, right? And what I'm saying is right now, if I need to add a size and change one of the other sizes, it's a disaster.
What do you mean? Say, rephrase that again. You want to change one of the size?
Yeah,
What?
let's say one of my sizes is 500 over 493. And now one of the designers changed the design, and now it's 500 over 490.
Yeah. So this size wouldn't available on previous uploads, but they will be available on future uploads. Right?
Exactly. But what I'm saying is now you need to go ahead and recut all of the other images. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
It's
insane,
redundant. It's
right?
redundant. Yeah. Yeah.
It's insane. And the thing is, you don't know what images you care about and what images you don't care about. So you kind of need to figure out in your kind of, in your company, in your product team, of, hey, do we care about some images? Do we not care about some images? And then you kind of start and say what images are popular, what images are not popular. And then like it starts a discussion that shouldn't even be there in the first place. You know what I mean?
Okay. Go ahead. I get that part.
All right. And the second thing is that, well, the third thing that I have, and you see I'm poking holes in this architecture, right?
Yeah.
And I came up with this architecture, but I'm poking holes in it. And you already see like there are many, 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 many problems with it. The final problem I have with it is that the database, in this solution, saves the state of where the images are hosted.
Right. It saves the address. Right?
Exactly. It saved the address per size.
Yes.
Right. I don't give a flying, X, Y, Z. I don't want to curse in the chat about the different sizes. What I care about is like an image. The sizes are the client's concern. Whatever the client wants, the client should have.
You're thinking what the client can have whatever size they want?
Yep.
Okay, that's an interesting aspect because I mean maybe I'm missing something. That means you have to cut it on demand instead of
now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, I need to cut it on demand.
Okay, so how does that work, and how does performance factor into?
All right, so let's see how that works. Okay.
Yeah.
So we still have the client. I don't know. Let's do computer here. All right, computer. Just a sec. So we still have the client here.
Yeah.
And we still have S3 here. So this part of our architecture is still valid, right? The client still uploads directly to S3, right? We still have, so this part, I'm putting on my, so
Whoa.
this part of the architecture, to me, it's still valid. I still don't want to have a server on the way. I still want to have the client send content directly to S3. I still don't want to be the man in the middle here, right?
Okay.
And then what I do is I send the trigger to Lambda, right? And then I send the trigger from Lambda. I send it to my EC2 cluster and then to my database.
So what does this Lambda function do though? Now that you
it just said, hey, I uploaded an image. Yeah,
this
is where the image is. Right. So let's put something here. So this is uploads. um, I don't know, profile photo, right? I don't know, uploads, and then we're gonna put like a token here, right? And then profile photo dot png,
Okay.
right? And then this is gonna say, um, whoa, this is not what I wanted. Just a sec. What? Just a sec. Okay. Um,
What did you do?
no, it copied the path in the PNG in the SVG instead of like the text. Um, so text, and then let's do bottom here. Bottom. So this says, hey, uploads, blah, 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 profile photo.png, and this is what's saved in the database, right? So here you can do some validations. You can do, I don't know, like virus checks. You can do lots of stuff, right? Before you say this image is serverable. I don't know if that's like the correct definition, but this image is like now the servers need to care about it, right? Because up until the point that it's in the database, it's in S3, no one's going to access it, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So
So
this,
what's the component on the right corner? Actually, that's not
this
really
one,
clear to
this is the
the red
database.
one is S3, right? The
Yeah, this
one on
is
the
a
right,
server
Lambda.
cluster. This is Lambda, S3, server cluster, RDS.
Okay, so the server cluster is what? Is that like an EC2? That's our backend server?
Yeah, this is API.
Okay, yeah, this is our backend server. Okay, just want to
Yeah,
make sure.
sure. This is API.
Okay.
And that's it. Now, you ask yourself, but where do we serve the images? Don't you ask yourself?
Yeah, well, one is where do we serve the images, and two, where do they get cut?
All right, so here's where they get cut. We have S3, right? And the client requests an image, right, of saying uploads CYX. All right, now check this out. 300x300 profile photo.png. All right?
Is this the same S3 bucket that we upload to, or this is a different S3?
Well, it can be either.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Doesn't really matter.
Okay.
And oh, this coffee is terrible. I made it myself. It's terrible. Anyway, so now, here's what happens. And I don't have the sketches for this, but there is a Lambda function here. Okay. Well, not this one, a different one. Right. And this cuts or serves and saves the content on S3 and then serves it back to the client resized.
So
now it only cuts it once.
Okay.
So it only cuts it once and never cuts it again. So if you already have the resized image, then you don't need to recut it.
Oh, okay. I see. So basically, it will only cut the images when the client makes a request for a certain size.
Yeah, well, the first time for a specific image for a specific size.
Okay, so when does it get triggered? Does it get triggered when the client makes the request?
Exactly.
Ah, all right. All right. That's very interesting.
Exactly.
So yeah, it makes a lot more sense now that, if the client never really requests that size of image, then
Then I don't need to cut it. I don't need to
We
do
don't
the
need to cut
work,
it. Okay, it's very interesting.
right?
Um, yeah. So, but I think typically the client will need at the minimum one size. For example, when they upload, imagine when they upload something, right? We want to like show them,
Well, we can
like,
show them the original.
right? Okay, so with the upload, we show them the original. Let's say if they go to another page that requires like a different size of image, then at that point the client will call the S3.
Yep.
Like the client will make a request to the S3 because that's a bit weird to me because usually the client will request to our API
No,
cluster.
the client will request to our API. But it will request like an API on Amazon, something called an API gateway on Amazon.
Oh, so Amazon is another feature on AWS that's a like API gateway.
Yes.
But that's like so the API gateway is not part of our like API server. It's just a gateway to Amazon.
Yes.
Okay, so that's new. That's something new to me. I can only imagine. But
Um,
yeah, I'd love to see that. I mean, that sounds very interesting.
so yes. Well, so what do you think? I mean, this is the old version. Now that we're past kind of the fanfare on it, we understand the problem with it, and this is the newer version.
So I think to me the biggest difference is where the recut is saved till later, right? I think that's where the efficiency comes. It's like there is no recut until the client requests that size.
Yep.
So it saves a lot of computing time, it saves a lot of cost, and then it should perform a lot faster. Like the first time when the upload happens, it's the process will finish a lot quicker.
Yeah, a lot quicker because then you basically process the image. Now there are some internals here, and I think a lot, you know, I think you and people who are viewing the stream right now are missing the technical details here. So I wanna get a bit into those.
Sure.
And okay, so these are some of the questions from last time, by the way. But right now, let's not discuss that. So here's the deal. Here, I want to focus about the process here, right? So here's the process, right? So let's make this syntax to do no tasks. All right. So what's going on? All right. So we have the client requesting an image with a specific size. All right, let's say the size is 300 x 300. Right?
Yeah.
Here we are calling API gateway. Right?
Yep.
API gateway is triggering Lambda. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then triggering the Lambda function is doing check if image exists. Right? If exists, then exit. If not, then recut. Right?
So this check logic is in the Lambda function.
Yeah. Right? So the Lambda function returns a full qualified URL of the resized image. Okay? Like a real URL of the resized image.
Okay.
and then it returns it to the API gateway, and the API gateway returns a 301 with a full URL. All right?
Who returns the 301?
The API gateway.
So that's a redirect.
Yep. It's redirecting to the real size of the image.
Okay.
To the real like hosted size of the image. Now, the next the next time your browser will hit that URL, it won't even trigger the Lambda function because it already has a 301 cached inside it that tells it that the resized image is there. You see what I'm saying?
The next time the browser hits that URL,
it will automatically do a redirect, right? It won't even trigger the API gateway.
Why not?
Because here, there is a browser cache.
Because the 301 is cached.
Yeah. And it's not only browser cache, it's client cache. Right? So the iOS or Android or whatever it is will also do the same thing.
Correct. So here, our database and our API cluster actually does not have knowledge of this URL, though. That's what I'm kind of worried. You know, like the data, our API cluster and our backend server, our database has no knowledge to these recut images.
Okay. And that is a problem. Why?
Because
those images are ephemeral.
I'm sorry?
Right? They're ephemeral images. Tomorrow they might not be there.
Well, I'm saying, what if we, like other parts of the application wants to request these images so that now they can, the only gateway to get to these images are actually the API gateway on Amazon, not our backend server, because our backend server actually has no knowledge.
So why would you need it on the backend?
We don't have to. I guess this is just the old mentality, like the conventional mentality, like, hey, the server kind of needs to know everything because.
Well, but the server knows the original.
Right.
Right. If we go back to the architecture here, the server knows about this photo. So no matter what happens, the server always has a way to get the images, either to get the original image or to get any dimension the server wants. I just don't understand why.
Right. No, I get it. No, I get it now. The client can make a request to the S3 to get the images, but the server can also make a request to the S3 to get the images.
Exactly.
Doesn't make any difference. Yeah. No, I was okay.
Exactly.
So
right. It's just an image SRC. So if you think about it, right? If you really dig into this implementation, this supports everything you need. So this supports server-side rendering of your client-side application.
Yeah.
Fully supports it.
Yeah.
Right? This utilizes browser cache, utilizes client cache. Only does one thing when one thing is needed. There is a performance hit, but the performance hit is singular, like one time per image per size.
Yeah.
The third thing is, and here's where I expected you to ask a question, but you didn't, is what happens if something here is broken?
What happened if what? The image is broken?
Yeah, something here is broken. Like, I don't know, we had like a bug in our rendering, and now all the images are black. You know what I'm saying? All the images are white. All the images are yellow. Right?
Yeah, so what? Not really sure what you mean. Like all the images are yellow.
So here's the deal, right? So because you have a 301 here, and it redirects to like the full URL. Okay. Now you don't have the ability to intervene in this browser cache. Once the browser kind of cache, hey, this is where the URL is.
Yeah.
Like this is where this image is stored. I already have like a 301 redirect of it. I mean, that's it. You can't just mess around with that, right? So one thing you can do is you can easily, like, say, if I do assets one dot I don't know, creative network, right? And now if I have a bug, I just promote the version here. And now all the browsers are gonna recache the 301 redirects.
What is this assets2.creative-network? What is this?
This
This
is
is
a
the
domain.
URL?
Yeah. So this is the URL of our images. So it's gonna be like slash uploads slash like image ID and
Oh, I see what you mean.
.png.
You can promote the URL for
For the assets, and now all of the
yeah.
browsers are forced to recache the full URLs. And you just change the image src across your site. I mean, that's it, right?
Interesting. Okay.
So again, this goes back to, like, poking holes in the previous architecture. And you say, if I had one disadvantage in this architecture, it would be this, but then I'm telling you, like, it's easily fixable.
Okay. Got it.
So so I think this architecture is better than the architecture we came up with last night. And again, this kind of goes back to like a deeper discussion about what's right. And I told you yesterday, like, there is no like clear answer to what's right. And the thing is, it's also very domain specific. So you might be like an enterprise client, and you have all of your stuff hosted, and I don't know, right? And then you can poke holes in this architecture, right? So there is not one answer, and there is not one size fits all. But I feel for like a media hosting site, I feel this solution is robust.
Yeah, this looks like a big upgrade from the previous implementation, because I think on the previous implementation, the most computing intensive part is the recut part, right? That essentially will become like a bottleneck, or it's the most costly process. And now this kind of streamlined it much better.
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely think this is superior.
Yep.
Okay, so now implementation details.
Okay.
All right, so first things first, we need an API gateway.
Okay.
We need an S3 bucket with hosting enabled and public access. Okay? I should say read access. Okay?
Okay.
We need a Lambda function that is triggered by the call in the API gateway. Okay?
By the call in the API gateway. Okay.
And the S3 bucket, there is a redirect rule to the API gateway. Okay? And here in real production mode, which we don't really worry about right now, this S3 bucket would be aliased by our own domain. So you would be like assets.globality.com, right? And not like s3.aws.us east, you know what I mean? 1.com. I don't know, something like that, right? So you would want to control the domain, but we're not worrying about this right now.
Sure. In my head, I'm still thinking there's two S3 bucket. One is the original one you upload to, and the second one is the one you store the recuts.
We can experiment with that, but right now I don't think that's needed.
So, single bucket,
Yeah,
storing everything.
yeah. Why not? Well, you want 4 originals, 1 for resize, like a folder for originals and a folder for resize.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Okay, and then the URL structure is going to be so it's going to be slash like something with an image ID. So I don't know, let's put like image ID here. And then width and height. And then image.png. Right? Image name.png or whatever. So extension. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I feel that's about it. So the thing is, we are going to use so now I don't know, nitty gritty.
We also need another Lambda to trigger the original, to trigger an action.
Yeah, right now we're not doing that. I mean, I want to focus on something we can deliver today.
Got it. Okay.
And I feel, I feel that this Lambda is straightforward. It's just calling an API. And what we should really be focusing on is here. This is where like the interesting stuff is.
Okay.
So then the nitty gritty is this. We're going to be using Node. We are going to be using Sharp.
What's Sharp?
Sharp is npm sharp image sharp. You see? So you can see sharp and then an input buffer, and you resize, and then to file or to buffer, right?
Okay, I see. Okay, so it's
so this is the library that we use for the real like resize, for the actual resize. Now, here's the problem. So this requires native extensions.
Is this something like image magic that the
during
one we
compile time? Yeah, exactly. So
that would be problematic, right? Because this is serverless. This is just a node.
So here's the deal, right? So we need to compile this on Linux, which means that the computer I'm working on right now cannot compile the native extension that I need to deploy the project.
But I don't understand. So if this is in a Lambda, how can Sharp run in a Lambda?
So yeah, Lambda can run anything you want as long as it has the dependencies.
So we just need to compile and put it in the package and upload it to the Lambda?
Put it in the package, upload to the function. Yep, that's it.
Oh, okay. And this won't compile on a Mac. It has to compile on Linux.
So it will compile on the Mac, but then it won't run on the Linux because you need to compile it in Linux.
Oh, right? Okay.
Comes a little solution called Docker.
Oh, okay.
I knew you're gonna like it.
that one I like.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do with the Docker. We're gonna use the AWS Linux Docker machine.
All right.
And we are going to use build inside the Linux machine. and then output from the Linux to the external mounted drive, and then upload the dist to Lambda. Okay.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
So Unicorn is asking, WTF are we doing? So we are making an on-the-fly image resizer. So you can call again like some URL with like image ID, and then dimension. So let's say 200 over 200, and then image.png, and it will go through the process of resizing the image, putting it on the bucket, and then serving you the image. And big picture, what we're doing is discussed here. So you can check it out. There's a lot of details about the project. We are basically live streaming everything we're doing, and we're discussing architecture, and we like people in the chat room to be involved. So feel free to ask other questions. People on Twitch as well. If you have any questions, please share with us. Okay, so before Unicorn asked the question, what I was going here. So then upload the dist to Lambda.
Okay.
Great. Now let me think about whether there's something else we need. Well, there's a lot of like here in the implementation details. There's a lot of, again, like here we need a policy, and then we need permissions. Same here, we need a policy, and then here, this is like this cryptic Amazon XML for redirection rules. So a lot of these are, kind of expanding out more and more in terms of like, I wouldn't say complexity, but I would say, I don't know, whatever. So now here's the deal. Would you want to do these things with Terraform? Or you would want to just do it manually and don't worry about Terraform?
What's the difference? What do you mean manually by by Terraform?
Well, manually, I mean going to the AWS console, doing the things manually, one by one, or saying, let's try and use Terraform.
Yeah, let's try to use Terraform. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah. It's a tool, right? It's a tool built for this purpose.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's what I suggest. I suggest we'll keep Terraform to the next one and just go ahead and implement today.
Because it seems like to me, I mean, of course, I'm on a different, you're operating at a different level. To me, this is a lot of work. This is like, we have several components here. So I'm wondering what, in your head, what is a priority here? What's a more, how do we progress over this thing? I mean, we have the Docker, we have the, we need to get Sharp working, then we need to get the bucket, the gateway, several things here.
All right. So Unicorn says correctly, and I'm going to drag this here. Unicorn is saying correctly that priority is writing code ASAP. And I think people are getting anxious for me to write code. So let's write some code and then worry about the rest. Okay? Because the people are getting restless. So let's provide what they want before they kill us.
All
right. So what we're going to start with is with the Lambda
Can
function.
you can you open up a SSH session?
Oh, yeah, sure. Just 1 second. So this is creative dot, so cd
Okay.
creative dot network
Water.
dot. So this is cd open source cd creative dot network dot lambda. Okay, so Steven's the TMAX session is live.
Okay. Let me
So
SSH.
KK Omaz is saying, I actually, LOL, actually, I enjoy your thinking out process before you start coding. Will make the code more understandable. And what? Send us the TMAX read monthly link? I don't know what that means. So, to answer or to talk through like what KK Omaz said. Stevens will tell you. Stevens and I worked. If you've been watching the stream, Stevens and I worked for 3 years, 2 years,
Yeah.
3 years,
2.5.
2.5 years in the same company. He is as a junior engineer and I as the architect. And I fired him. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's the other way around.
I'm kidding. I since then left the company. It's not. It doesn't really matter. And he will tell you that what I do is before I even and this has been like our discussion points for a long time is before you do this like just bang on your keyboard, you need to think, right? I mean, unless it's something really simple that you returned false and you needed to return true, right? I mean, that just write it, right? But what I'm saying is, if you need to look into implementing like a big feature or something like that, you need to think first. And I would argue that you also need to write tests first, because thinking makes your makes your architecture better, and then tests make your code, like the implementation of your code, better, right? So it's think, test, code. Think, test, code. Think, test, code. Deliver. And yeah, definitely. So unicorn, yeah, I think we basically kind of hit that point. You hit the nail on the head. Like we hit it at the same time. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, sounds good to you, Stevens?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So first things first, we need our Lambda function.
Okay.
All right. So let's start implementing that first. So we have from yesterday, we have the version of the Lambda function that just gets an object, right?
Okay.
So we are getting rid of this. We are getting rid of this.
So we're starting fresh.
We're starting fresh. And one thing I also want to do is I want to move. I want to first make dir -p lambda, and then move index.js into lambda index, and that now the project. Oh shit! So 3-L1. Okay, so now the project makes more sense. And let me close this up and refresh. All right, so now we have Lambda and index.js. And what I also want is to move package.json into Lambda here. and I want to remove node modules. Okay. All right. So now I have Lambda with an index.js and npm. Oh, you know what? We also need to remove yarn.
Why are we removing this?
Because I just I'm doing a different different structure for the project. Okay, so this is actually MIT. All right, so great. So now we can finally write some code and satisfy unicorn thirst for me writing code. So let's go ahead and do that. So first thing we need is here. So we're gonna where are we? All right, so we are going to go into our Lambda and then do a yarn. So this is nothing. Then we're gonna do yarn add sharp and yarn add AWS SDK. So this is gonna add the dependencies for both of these.
Okay.
So you see this is now building, but it's building locally.
So now the Sharp is already building the local dependency.
Yeah.
But do you have the software already
What do you mean?
on your local? Like,
Well, when you do npm install, it builds it.
okay. So what does it use? Does it use image magic? Not image magic. What's that?
What you mean, the internal implementation? I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't look at the code.
which tool does it? Okay, never
I
mind.
didn't look at the code. So so AWS SDK is actually dash dash dev. So we're gonna add that. And let's go ahead and check it out. So now package.json, we have AWS SDK here and sharp here, looking fresh. And what do I want? All right, so this is looking good. And now what do I want to do next? What do I want to do next? So one thing I want to do is I want to test this. But the way that I need to test it is different than the way it's really gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
And let me think about it for a second, because what happens is that our Lambda function is basically triggered by an API gateway. And when you have
Correct.
the API gateway, but actually we can try and mimic that. So here's what I'm thinking here. So let's do console.log event.query string parameters dot key. So this is what like API gateway looks like.
Okay.
And then here in our fixtures, what I'm gonna do is like do this query string parameters, and then I can remove all of this and key. So actually this is just a string here. So key is gonna be what? It's gonna be like slash 876 blah blah blah. This is like an image ID,
All
right?
right.
And then it's going to be 300 over 300,
Cool.
and then image.png,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I can do now is try and execute my Lambda. So this is in Lambda index.js dash h is handler and fixture test event. And yeah, you can see, so we can actually test this um, with this event, like, and try and work that out this way.
Where did it get that request ID from?
This is like what Amazon attaches to everything. It has request ID, start, end. Again, so here, what we had yesterday, we had so const like local, and this is true, and then here we had like if local, then we call context dot done, and then lambda. So actually context dot done like this, I think. Lambda finished here, and then else we are calling callback with, I think, null, and then lambda has finished. All right, so let's do this. All right, and we see it exits right away, which is great, and which is what we want. Okay, so now we need some things here. So first things first, we need a constant, which is the bucket name. And our bucket name is creative network uploads.
Okay.
Right? What else do we need? So we need to parse. Hey, what's going on? Okay, so we need to do parse the key to extract the image name and the dimensions. All right, so here, so actually here, test event.json, what I want is here, originals. All right?
Okay.
So what I want is to ignore originals. All right? Replace with, I don't know, resized, right? Because I want all of my images to be resized.
This is the Lambda function that gets triggered by the gateway, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal now. So now if we look at the key here, let's grab this and go here. Do you know this website?
Wow. I'm not looking at it. Rubular? Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
That's for the regex, right?
Yeah. So first things first is to grab the originals one. And then this is the image ID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here, oh, so what I need is not one. I need this and I need this. Okay?
Okay.
And then this is the image name, and this is the extension. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Great. So we have the key for originals. We have the image ID. We have the width. We have the height. We have the name of the image, right?
Okay.
And we have the extension.
Right.
So now we can test this with like this and this and whatever, right? You can see it scales. Obviously this will not scale, or actually, oh, it does because there's the final one. So we can put this here, and then this is 3 or 4. 3 or 4, and should actually be A to Z. All right. So this scales better. And actually, it should also be A to Z. Yeah.
So it means like characters with 3 or 4
Yeah.
being
So
lit.
it's PNG and it's also JPEG.
Okay.
So if I had only 3, then PNG and JPG would work, right? If I didn't have this.
What if you do la 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 la? What would happen?
What do you mean?
Like instead of JPEG.
Oh, I can actually have like this with a plus, and then JPEG would work, and also zip would work. So whatever. We'll watch that, but also zip, this, which is not a valid extension. So that's why I put the protection with 304. All right, but I think we're like overthinking this part. So
Yeah.
so this is our regular expression. All right, so here's the deal. So now instead of logging this, let's say that this is the key, and we are equals key dot match, and then we put this in a regular expression.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this. So we have directory. So this is M1, right? So because directory is 1 here.
Mm-hmm.
Width is M2.
Okay.
Right? So this is width. So height is 3. And image name is 4. And extension is 5.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
All right. So this is that. So we have parse and extract the details. Okay, so now what we want is to do this. So we have AWS and we need sharp.
Did it finish compiling on your local?
Yeah, it did. So we have sharp, we have AWS, and now we do const s3 equals aws.s3. Oh, and we had this thing yesterday, right? AWS
The environment
access.
process or something.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, process.unit.
Okay.
Okay.
And again, here we can do if local. Then we do this, else we instantiate this with no details. And local should definitely be here. Otherwise, it's not going to work. All right. So we have bucket name, key, and so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, right. So now we can do this. So this should be S3, and this should be S3. And then we can do s3.getObject, and we're gonna pass in the bucket, which is a bucket name, and the key, which is the key. And we're gonna do a promise. Then, so here we do data, and
Date.
data.
It's a typo.
Yeah,
Date. Then
yeah.
after then.
Oh yeah,
Date.
data. Sorry. So data, and then close here and here. And for now, we can do console.log data. All right. So now this should error out. So promise. Then what am I missing here? Data, and then I'm passing a function. What am I missing here? Okay, this is better. Services must be with new, like again, same mistake. So this is new, and then this is new. So now we should be getting an error that our credentials are wrong. S3 is not defined. S3 is not defined. If local, then const S3 AWS dot S3.
Oh.
S3 is not defined. Well, that's weird. Let's get rid of this for now. Just 1 second. And pass this.
Okay.
No.
Well, it didn't print out anything.
Yeah, it didn't print out anything. So here, this one I like never remember. Is this error?
I'm not sure.
Promise error. I never remember if it's error or if it's catch. Let's see. Well, I know reject is if you have a promise. So this is resolve. Okay, so let's do catch. And then this is going to be error. And we'll do like console.log error, because there should be an error here with the credentials. But I'm not seeing anything. So this is AWS sharp. It's sharp. One thing that might be is that this should be here. So let's do this. And then this will get out one folder to the fixtures. Okay. So get object, bucket is bucket name, key is the key. Let's do it again. So console.log key here. And run the function. So I see the key. So this is get object. Bucket is the bucket name. Right? And oh, this is what I'm missing. Key. Okay. So now this is weird. And then here. So this is weird. I don't see anything returning from this like promise. Oh, okay. Oh man, got it.
Oh, it's because of the local. It errored out.
Well,
And
it's not waiting for the top promise to return. Yeah.
yeah.
This is why I don't always like writing these things like Lambda functions with JavaScript, because you get to like this nested level of when you need to return the context and when you don't need to return the context. So and I don't want all the functions to time out, right? All right, so now we should be getting an error that the specified key does not exist, which is good, and which is what we want.
What error are you getting? I can't even see.
I'm getting the specified key does not exist.
Oh, it's because this image doesn't exist on S3.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can just. Don't we already have an image on S3?
Well, we have an image on S3. I just want to upload like a specific image.
Yeah, we can just rename it and yeah, we can rename it S3 to this structure.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so let's do that. So I am going to grab browser and log into my S3. Just 1 second. Let me open that up. All right. All right. So we are here. There it is. Okay. So we have originals, and now we're gonna create a folder with where is it? So this.
Creative network uploads, originals, ID.
And actually now, this shouldn't find it. So the image should be here. So let's upload, add files.
What do you mean? Because the size is not available?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right.
Okay. So here's the image. It's 6.2 megabytes. And let's change this to be our key.
The Earth seen from Apollo.
Yeah, it's a good image. It's a very good image. Oh, access denied. I can't really access it, so now I need to download it. It's like a good image to you see. It's like a good image to experiment with stuff like that. Okay, great. So our image is 6.2 megabytes, right? And now here, the image shouldn't really return, so it really should be caught with the error, right?
Yep.
And so here we should exit with the full URL of the image. It's already been resized. Do you agree?
Yeah. So this is assuming it already exists.
Yeah. And actually, though, here, the key that we need to grab is not the originals, but the resized one. Right? So this directory.
The key we want to grab is not the original,
So
but
we
the
need to have a
resized.
const resized key, which is key dot, what is it in JavaScript? Is it replace directory with resized? Is it replace? You have no idea, huh?
Resized. Why? Why do we have a resized?
Because this is the original, right? This is looking for the original. The original. Oh, actually, you know what?
What?
Never mind. It doesn't really matter because what happens is the image doesn't really matter. Anyway, never mind. I overthought something that shouldn't be really be here. By the way, people in the chat room, we have like 6 people in the chat room. Feel free to ask questions. Make comments. We're here for that, right? We're not just here to puke out code. Okay, great. So now that the image is here, well, now that the image is not here, I want to put it there.
So that means every time it's not there, it's gonna go in the catch.
Yeah.
Loop. Okay.
Yeah. And let me think about it for a second here. And what I want is the URL part without the size. So this needs to scale better here for just a second because here's what I'm thinking about, right? What I need is to grab, but you know what? Actually, no. So this is the key, and if not, then we need the original key. So original key is basically this. So it's directory and we don't have no, something here is off. So
why do we want the original key?
So this is just a sec. So this is image ID. This is 2, and then this is the width is 3. The height is 4. Image name is 5, and extension is 6. Um, so Enginero on Twitch is asking, since you asked, what are you making? What does the full stack application going to do? So this is what we are working on. Feel free to go and read more about like the application, the implementation. You can go back in videos and stuff like that. So great. So now the extension is 6. So now this actually looks like what I want it to look like. Great. So now the original key is the directory, and then it's the image ID, and then it's the image name, and then it's so binary sloth tree is asking, are you using Grammarly? And the answer to that is, so just so people have context here, Grammarly is this extension to Chrome that helps you write better English. And yeah, I mean that's about what it does. And the answer to that is I used their trial, and I didn't really like it. Excuse me. And I didn't really like it. I didn't think it added any value to me. So I'm not really using it. As you can see, it's like trying to find stuff. And yeah, I'm not logged in anymore. I haven't removed the extension. So where was I? I was here. Okay, great. So then the image name and dot and extension. So this is the original key.
Okay.
And now what we need is to get another object with the bucket, which is the bucket name, and then the key is the original key, right? Return a promise dot then, and then data here. What? I can't type today. I'm sorry. So this is the original image. And then here, what we want is to use sharp. So sharp data dot body, which is the Amazon S3, the way it returns a body, and then we want to do a resize of the width and the height.
Okay.
So the image is the image a PNG or a JPG? So the image is JPG, but what I want is to resize it to a PNG.
What's the difference between those two? Why would you pick one over another?
Man,
Okay,
don't even go there. So and then this is dot resize. Content type is image PNG, and no, this is not. So dot to format PNG, and then dot to buffer.
What does this do to
So
buffer?
what this does is instead of returning like an object, it returns a buffer, and the buffer is what you want to write back to S3.
So buffer is like the data stream?
Yeah. So now we need to put the object with the body being the buffer, the bucket being the bucket name, the key being the key, and this is going to return an unresolved promise. This is where like JavaScript is starting to hurt. And then so where is the S3 closed? So here. So this is again promise dot then I don't know. Let's not focus on that right now. Just a sec. I just want to see that this thing is working. So let's see if it's even doing anything. Expect an integer between 1 and but received 300 of type string. Oh, okay, got it.
It needs to be an integer. Maybe?
Yeah, it needs to be an integer. So the width is parse int. And then here as well.
Oh, this is actually not bad. It actually got to the line for sharp, right?
Yep.
Oh, wow. One-time JavaScript, man.
Yeah, it hurts, but it happens.
This is it's pretty amazing. One-time JavaScript.
So now, if we refresh,
Timed out.
oh, it timed out. Oh, it timed out. So let's do a timeout of, I don't know, 10 seconds. Original 300, 300, the earth.
Okay, it's so probably doing the work.
Yeah, it's doing the work. Let's see.
It's very intensive work.
Yeah, so it's still timing out. So let's 20. Do like 20. Yeah.
Wow. This is pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, the image is 6.2 megabytes and it needs to download it from S3. It needs to upload it back up again. So 20 seconds might not even be enough. And this is definitely not the case for Amazon because Amazon is doing everything locally inside the network there. So it should definitely be faster. Yeah, it's timing out. So let's do, I don't know, 60.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's gonna take a while because it's a big image.
Yeah. But well, I'm not. Yeah, I made a mistake here. Let's see if it's doing anything, and then I'll fix my mistake.
I still don't get what you do with this like key, original key. Like what is this like?
Let's see if it works, and then I'll go back and explain. So it seems like it's still timing out. But let's see. So first things first. Man, this is where like JavaScript really, really, really hurts. But what I can do here, is do, you know what, I can be better than this. I can use promise.all to make this better. So we'll first see if that times out, and then we'll use promise. Yeah, it's still timing out. So I'm not sure if it's doing the work or not even doing anything, and just like timing out here. So
how would you test it?
So a to format and a PNG, and then to buffer, and then this returns a promise. Which we do a then and then a buffer with s3.put object. With the key as the original key. But actually, I think I get it. So what I want to do is this. So this. I'll explain in a second, but I think. Okay, yeah, great. So now this needs to be removed, and great. So now I think it's gonna do.
What did you change?
So the thing is that the key for the the file is not starting with a slash. It's like just the directory structure. So you need to normalize the slash or denormalize the slash when it comes from the API gateway to when it before it becomes um, like a key for S3, if it makes sense.
Kind of, but it's okay. I get it. Still terminal. Not returning.
Yeah, it seems like something here is off. So we have the width, we have the height, and then we put the original. Yeah, it's still timing out. So here's what I think. I think this is returning an error. Here, the get object is returning an error.
Let's just test it.
So this is catch error. And then this is console.log error. This is most likely returning an error, and this is why it's timing out.
No.
Or this is returning an error, like the to buffer. You know what I'm saying? Something here is returning an error.
Why don't you just remove it line by line? Just
So just a sec. So this is then
log the error.
And then okay. And then console.log.
No.
No.
Maybe the resize is where it just fails. Resize .to format. It's too many things going on here.
Let's do console.log data here.
That's a good idea.
So yeah, you see.
Okay,
so
we see we got data.
So data.body is actually returning a buffer.
Yeah.
So now it's doing sharp with data.body and then resize with the width and the height.
I feel like it's a resize part.
And then it does to format with a PNG and then to buffer. This is where I think it's taking time. Because here I already have the body. So either put headphones on or reduce the volume because I'm hearing echo.
Oh, you're hearing echo?
Yeah.
Let me get my headphone. 1 second.
Yeah, it's still timing out. It should definitely not be so intense. So what I want to do is upload a different image and see if on a 6.2 megabytes. So if this image is going to be better. And this is already a PNG.
Better?
Great.
Awesome?
Yep.
Fantastic.
All right, so I want to take this image. It's 500 kilobytes. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go to the fixtures test event.json and then vs here. Put this as a PNG, right? And then one other thing I want to do here is do this. Okay, and then here console.log of, I don't know, buffer and buffer. So this is buffer. So the body is the buffer, the bucket is the bucket name, key is key, and key is key, and then here dot promise dot catch error console.log error. So here I want to add a content type of image JP NP PNG. So this is this bucket name. I don't know. Right, let's try. Okay, so
Oh,
you see?
so this one worked. This one worked.
Yeah, this one worked. My computer is now dying with the. All right, so you see 300 over 300, and then the image.
You see the image on S3?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm
So
seeing a
let's
delay.
do it
Ah,
again. And
okay.
yeah, here's the image, 300 over 300.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, but the URL, okay, the URL is because it's after in the folder 300 over 300.
Yeah.
Interesting. Awesome.
So now,
Worked.
yeah, well, the code is not perfect. I really don't like it, but now what's gonna happen is gonna be here console.log image is already there. You know?
Yeah. So
So let's do that.
now,
Oh, now my computer is stuck. Because
why
I
is it stuck?
because I output it. I put a console.log on binary content. Yeah, it happens sometimes. All right, so let's do that.
Binary content.
Yeah, well, buffer is binary content. So cd lambda here, and AWS and this one, and now lambda local. Okay, image is already there. You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
So now it's
Okay.
not even going through sharp. It's not going through anything.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
So now here we are going to like exit with the correct URL.
So we just return the URL here.
Yeah. Yeah, and if not,
Nice.
then we
Nice.
do the resize, and then we return the URL.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Now my computer is dead because this outrageous binary content.
Can you just kill that process?
It's not.
Oh, but
Yeah, it's not that simple. Yeah. Okay, great. So I think for today it's already like 10 minutes to 11. I think it's enough.
this is perfect. This is
And for the next time, we're gonna terraform this. We're gonna see how we compile this project and upload it to Lambda. How we compile this in like local Docker in order for this to work
yep.
in the context of um, Linux and not Mac. Because right
Yep.
now, if I'm doing this, like everything is inside Mac.
Yeah.
And yeah, what I want, you know what I want? Let me tell you what I want. Here's what I want. What I want is just like
What do you want?
profile photo sample. This is what I want. I just want to grab a photo. Um, and see what do I want? How is that called? Portrait. Portrait. Right, great. This is what I want. I want to take like a big, portrait image. Um, let's do like tools here and type photo. All right. So you see this? This is like 800 over 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So this is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's grab this. Okay. Um, Media Wiki Commons. You know what? That's actually true. Media Wiki Commons.
That looked like high school yearbook
Yeah, I don't
picture.
want to. Someone on Twitch said, and he's right. So let's do usage right, labeled um, non-commercial reuse. All right, I think that's good. Well, so Sir Randomage, I guess. So first of all, thank you. I definitely, it's not on the top of my mind because it's just for testing. It's not something that I use. Um, it's not gonna be on the website or anything like that. But definitely, non-commercial with modification. Great. And then yeah, that's what we want. Thank you. So non-commercial with modification is the safest, and this is what we're using right now. Um, yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a legit comment, like 100%. Um, great. So this is, and you see, this is like JPEG
Okay.
here. So let's grab this and upload it to our S3. Upload, add files, and this one here. All right, let's copy this here. Next, upload. Great. And now let's go back to the terminal and let's go to our fixtures, event.json, and do this. And actually now, what I want is for the format of the image to always be PNG. So what I need is to ignore the extension here and say it's always PNG.
Okay.
Okay. This is just a fix that I noticed. And now let's go ahead and do that. Oh, now I'm outputting the.
That, but that's the original.
Well, the original is JPEG.
Yeah, like you can't really fix on the original, then that would be off.
Oh, this is the. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're changing the
So
original
yeah,
key.
this is the original key. So the key now. So now I need to change the key. So do we do like replace? Oh, actually though.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
so
just
here. Okay, got it. So let's do so key equals key dot replace extension
yeah.
with PNG. Yeah, this is what I want.
You like JavaScript actually can know extension? Like, how does it know what is extension?
Oh, damn. How do I? Yeah, this. Well, extension is here. Yeah, now I did it again. Okay, but now it should be here in the 300 over 300, and this is like the girl. Um, and now we can download, and here's the image. Check this out. All right, 300 over 300.
Cool.
How awesome is that?
Awesome.
And just for good measure, um, what I want is oh, I have put the binary content again. So here's what I want. ls dash llh downloads. Is it girl? No, it's girl. So the image is 147K. So it came down from 2 point something megabytes to 147K. And it's in the dimensions we want. And now you see how this is going to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sir Randomage is asking, is your coding partner able to read the chat? So yeah, he is able to read the chat.
Like me? Well,
Yeah.
I can't really read. I can only read the live EDU because that's
No, but
what
like
I'm
what
watching
I'm
now.
putting right now is you can see that, right?
Yeah,
Like
but not
what
like
I put on
clearly.
the screen. Yeah. Um, so Sir Randomage mentioned like we're doing regular expression groups, and yeah, definitely regular expression groups here. We're figuring out the key and putting it here. And then resizing. So we have the things ready. One thing. So here's for next time. All right. So first of all, we have this. We have this, right? We don't have this. We don't have this. We don't have this. Now we have this. Well, we have some of it. And then we have the code here. All right, so here's for next time. What is it gonna be? Tuesday or Thursday? You want to try Thursday?
Yeah, let's try Thursday.
All right, let's try Thursday. So, one, Terraform.
Terraform. Yeah.
Two is compiling the Lambda inside Docker for native extensions.
Yep.
So actually here, maybe Circle CI. I mean, this is going to
Sure.
be interesting.
Yep.
And then, so let me just format this thing here. And then this, and then, so compiling the Lambda, and then deploying the Lambda function with the API gateway trigger.
Yep.
And more testing. All right? Sounds good to you?
Yep. Look good.
Yeah, let's just move this to the chat notes here. Here. Great. So I think that's it for today. We poked holes in, just to recap, we poked holes in our previous architecture, which is this. I basically went and explained why I think this is not as ideal as I want it to be. And then I came up with this one, which to me seems saner and better. and we started implementing this part here. And we have a working version of the Lambda function that is working locally with Lambda local. We tested it out with a couple images that look great. You see, like the images look great. Now you can't really see it through, the stream maybe, but I'm like telling you, the image is crisp.
All right.
Yeah,
I believe you.
it's like top notch.
I believe you.
And you know what? Before we do that, what I would want to do is refactor the Lambda function with promise.all and returning the context in the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't pay too much for AWS Lambda invocations. All right.
Yeah.
This all sounds great. So we are going to post up the blog post tomorrow. People in the chat room, I'm gonna post the link to the blog again. Go ahead, read up a bit more, and yeah, I think that's it for today. Sir Randomage, does Sharp also optimize the PNG size? The answer to that is yes and no. And when we go into more of the implementation details, the next time I'm gonna answer that more in depth. All right, man. It was a pleasure as usual, and have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Have a good one.
Thanks, Avi. Bye.